welcome to the Dirt Trail Running Podcast. My name is Michelle Hartwig, and I am your host. I am also a race director for many Midwest trail races like Kettle Moraine 100, Hennepin 100. In 2021, we have the Midwest States 100. And I've got my co-host here tonight with me, Crystal the Pistol.
Hey everybody, how's it going?
So Crystal had a birthday last weekend. We had a birthday aid station for her.
It was. I ate a lot of cupcakes that day too. A lot.
Yeah, we went out to the Hennepin.
It was a good weekend.
And sat up all night with Crystal and ate cupcakes and taco soup. Candy, you got a big bag of candy from Jerry.
That was good. I forgot about the taco soup. I did. I got a giant, it's over there. I'm not going to get it, but it's a giant bag of gummy worms. I got it from Jerry Lynn Baker. So thanks, Jerry Lynn. I think we've pretty much eaten the whole bag almost. There's probably like 6 gummy worms left. Yummy.
And before we start our show, we wanted to give a quick shout out. A bunch of Patreons are signing on, and thank you so much for supporting our show. We got Leslie Mitchell. She's designing a really cool hoodie for our top level patrons, and I've seen pictures of it. She's hand drawing it. It's awesome. It's going to be. She's the one that designs like Crystal's shirt, the stuff back here behind me. And so it's going to be really cool just for the Dirt Podcast patrons. And then we got stickers and stuff like that. We're Ornery Mule Racing. We like cool ass swag. And then, so we're excited to get to our guests. So we took care of our housekeeping there, our Patreon stuff. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And then we have our guest tonight. So this is kind of like part 2 we had Shan Riggs on a few weeks ago. He is running across the United States, and Callie Vinson is working on the road in a van and crewing him across the United States. So really exciting. Thank you so much, Callie, for coming on the show.
Yeah, absolutely. Good to be here. And Shan in the background, who's snacking on food, is also here. Yeah, rightfully so. He finished 42 miles today, so it was a bigger day. So, yeah, you should be eating constantly right now. He's eating.
Yeah, we had posted a picture of Shan, and somebody said that it should be Shan eating his way across the United States.
Absolutely. Yeah, it seems like every time I get a photo of him, he's either sitting down or eating or both.
Well, with 42 miles, it seems like it's been about 42 miles a day what I'm watching. It's a lot.
Yeah, I would say you're averaging what, like 38, 39 a day. But now that we're in the Midwest and in flatter territories, we're going to try and up that because it's going to be flatter and we can get a lot more miles in. Hold on one second. There's someone approaching the van. Hi.
Oh, wow.
Oh, nothing. We're just waiting here for someone.
For who?
Oh, for a friend.
Okay.
Oh, oh no, we're not broken down at all.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you, though.
That's awesome. So somebody just stopped. So let's get a picture of where you're at. So you're on the side of the road.
Very much so. Like I'm on the road right now. So middle of nowhere, sun's starting to set. This is the person who's literally.
Show what you're doing. You need a signal.
Yeah, I need a signal, which is right.
Okay.
And yeah, there's Shan snacking some more. So it's funny. Anytime that we, have someone stop us, they usually stop me. They hardly ever stop Shan because he, has his gear on and he looks like he's meant to be out there. Whereas me, I usually just have my phone and I'm running towards him or by the van. And people will be like, are you broken down? Do you need help? Do you need anything? And there's been a couple instances where the van overheated and I needed them to go tell Shan, like, I'm back 3 miles from where you are. So good to have those people. But yeah, we've had a lot of interesting encounters. I had one time where I was stopped in the middle of nowhere, of course, and someone called me in as a suspicious vehicle. And I was on my laptop working, and all of a sudden I look up in the rearview mirror and I hear just whoop whoop, and there's a police car right behind me. And they're like, "What did you do? Do you know why I pulled you?" I'm like, "I have no idea." But yeah, it was fine. By the end of the conversation, Shan basically had police escort to the next city, so it all worked out.
Yeah, what do they say? It's like, oh, we're just running across the United States.
Yeah, and it's like, oh yeah, it happens all the time. So I usually have to give them a little spiel, and I give them some stickers, and then they're like, oh, okay, I get it, I see what you're doing. So yeah, by the end of that, they're like making sure he's safe and whatnot. But yeah, it's funny when those kind of those kind of situations happen, just when you least expect it.
Yeah, how far into the run are you guys? So you're through the mountains of Colorado now?
We're through the mountains. We're on our downhill towards the Midwest. We've got what, like 150 until we're in Nebraska?
I don't know.
Yeah, we're 1,300 miles in total. So we're a little over
928 to Chicago.
Yeah, we are counting down to Chicago because we cannot wait to get back and celebrate and see people and take another day off, and then it's smooth sailing to Connecticut.
Yeah, because so you guys just took your very first day off yesterday, and
Yeah.
it looked like you like climbed a mountain or something.
Yeah, that was probably our toughest climb, toughest adventure yet, was getting not only him over the mountains before snow season happened, but also getting this van over the mountains, because one of the fans isn't working, so it overheats very quickly when you go up a steep grade. And I've gone into a situation like that two times now, and it didn't overheat this time. It did going over the Sierras, and that was scary. I white knuckling it the entire time up the Sierras because it was a 26% grade, so it was like this. And luckily that's pretty much all the scary parts. But yeah, we made it over the Rockies, and that was our biggest goal. So as soon as we did that, we stopped and saw friends who we were staying with in Jamestown and had a day to just relax. All he did was eat and sleep, and it's exactly what he should have done.
Yeah, that's good. How's he feeling? Like, after, is he starting to get better or getting used to it?
I think he's just getting used to it, like getting used to well, you're right here. Getting used to the getting used to the soreness every day. Nothing's getting worse, so it's just being comfortable with that feeling. But he feels good. His energy level ebbs and flows throughout the day, but generally he's in good spirits, and just a casual 40 for him every day. That's all.
Well, what's it like for you? So what's a typical day? So you started, you get up, do you drive 5 miles ahead, 10 miles ahead? How does that work?
The goal is to end exactly where we want to start the next day. And when I say end, I mean sleep, there, whether it's a hotel or it's the RV park or it's just a rest stop. But as soon as we get there, then, we sleep and wake up. The day starts with his alarm going off around, tomorrow it's going to go off at 5:30, right? Yeah, it's going off at 5:30. Between like 5:30 and 6, and then if we have to drive somewhere, we try and get there by 7. If not, he tries to start by 7. But I fill his water. He gets a goose stroop waffle and eats that. Heads out the door, and then I start working. So I'll catch up on my emails and start work, and just get ready for the work day, and then drive maybe like 10 miles ahead, and then that's where, if we're in a city, luckily, then we'll meet up at a diner or cafe and have breakfast together. If not, if we're in a situation like this, then I make breakfast here in our kitchen. Usually I make like a breakfast sandwich or a breakfast wrap for him. I drink just a ton of coffee in the morning, and I eat a ton of plain oatmeal. And he comes in about 10 miles, sits down for about 20 minutes, has his breakfast, and then he's off running again. Oh, and he drinks about 2 LaCroix at every stop, I would say.
Ooh, I
He's
love
a big,
LaCroix.
big LaCroix and Diet
LaCroix.
Soda fan. Yeah. He's a big mango fan and key lime.
Oh, I love mango.
Have some of those ready in Chicago. He'll drink them.
Okay.
Nice.
Yeah, take a note of that, Ryle.
So then after breakfast, then I drive another like 10 to 12 miles. I stop and I start work. and then he comes in. I make his breakfast or his lunch. Usually it's just a plain old turkey sandwich with a lot of turkey, a lot of cheese, brown mustard, pickles, spinach. He likes to get any kind of vegetable in with every meal. He's not doing like fast food or anything. He tries to eat as healthy as possible. So usually 2 LaCroix and another diet, and then he's out the door, and I go ahead to the next stop, which is about 10 or 12 miles ahead. I work and then do the same thing with a snack. What are your afternoon snacks? Usually like cottage cheese and crackers or domas and diet soda, LaCroix out the door. And then at the end of the day, I finish work, and then on a weekday, that's when I'll go ahead. If it's after 5 and Central Time, then I can run back to where he is, and then we run back to the van together so I can get my weekday miles in. And then after that, then it's we shower. And today we're showering with our solar shower. So I put hot water in this, and then we open the back window vans and shower outdoors. I will say, if you've never done that in the just middle of nowhere, try it. I was terrified at first. It's very freeing, I guess. So usually the first thing is do a shower, and then I start dinner, and then we just chill, and then we're in bed by like 8:30. And that's usually the weekday. But on the weekends, that's when I can get more miles in with him, because I'm still training. Even though while I'm working and crewing, usually I try and get like at least a marathon 50K distance in on a Saturday and on a Sunday. So that's usually the routine.
Yeah, you have a really big goal. There's a lot of stuff that you talked about that I want to talk about more. So I got to make sure we remember all of it, because I'd love to hear about your job and how you're managing that. But I don't want to forget about your big goal that you're talking about for training, because I think that's so exciting. Why don't you tell us about that?
Yeah, so my original plan was to run the Tahoe 200 like a few weeks ago. And of course, like with everyone else, it got canceled. But however, it did get canceled because of COVID, but also because of the fires. There was a week in July where the race director, Candace, said, for anyone registered, like, now's your chance where you can defer it for 100% guaranteed entry and don't have to pay anything for 2021. So I took that opportunity because my goal was to travel and, do altitude training. There's also an altitude gym in Chicago that I wanted to use, and that was closed. So I was just like, it's just not going to happen this year. But I didn't want to stop training, and I didn't want that motivation to go away. So I was, doing some research, and I discovered through a friend that there's, I guess it's a pretty newly fully connected 220-mile loop that goes around Chicago. It's called the Chicago Outer Belt Trail, and it starts and ends at the Buckingham Fountain. So I dug a little deeper on the FKT website, and there are no FKTs set for it. So nobody go out there and do it right now.
It's a
because
secret.
I'm not going after a big goal. Yes. So my goal is to substitute the Tahoe 200 with hopefully my first 220-mile finish and FKT record. So I originally was going to do that like also a couple weeks ago, because I was going to do it like the weekend after of the actual Tahoe 200. But then, Shan had this idea, and I was like, this is bigger. This is way bigger than the 200. Let's do this. Like, I want to help you make it happen. And now he's in debt to me. So as soon as he finishes in Connecticut, we're going to rest and then drive straight back to Chicago and start the 200 in December. So that's the goal. And I've enlisted a bunch of groups in Chicago, because I don't want this 200 to be about me at all. I really want it to be about multiple communities in Chicago coming together. So like November Project, 3 Run 2, the Keller Running Club, Edge, Athlete Lounge. I really want to get just a bunch of people together to help pull this off, because it really is a village that makes, these kind of races or runs happen. As a race director, like, it's not just one, it's everyone coming together. And I really want to do it for a charity, but I haven't picked which charity yet. I have one in mind that's now really meaningful to me because of some news that just happened. So that's still in the works, but that's the goal.
Yeah. Do you know that trail? I've actually been looking at it. It looks really exciting. Can you explain to everybody a little bit what that trail's like, or do you know?
Yeah. So as motivation, sort of, I guess, I have it as a screenshot on my phone. So it's my home screen.
Okay.
So it starts and ends at the Buckingham Fountain, goes like all the way past Evanston, all the way past Highland Park, down to Oak Park, heading west, down past Tinley Park, down to Park Forest, and then comes up towards the Lakefront Trail, and then ends at the Buckingham Fountain. But I haven't done enough research to know like which trails it's actually on, but I know it is a newly fully connected loop, so I'm excited about that. I've got to do some research at some point.
Yeah, well, I had heard that quite a bit of it's dirt actually, which I think is pretty exciting. You know, going around Chicago, and
Yeah.
really, there's a dirt trail like that goes around Chicago.
I know you think it'd just be all pavement and sidewalks and suburbia, but I looked at some pictures and it looks like there's nature. There's a little nature there.
It looks like a gorgeous trail, everything that I've seen, and I think that's super exciting. I think it'll be great to bring attention to that cool new trail.
Yeah, I know. And being so close to the city and downtown, because and I complain about it too. It's like, oh, I wish there were more trails so close to or closer to Chicago. Like the only ones are, Palos or Waterfall Glen, or if you go north, but there really are more than you think. It's just a matter of, doing the research and finding them. But yeah, hopefully that would be great if it brings awareness to this trail, and especially being a fully connected one. I've talked to some cyclists, and a lot of them have thought about doing it as like a single, ride, like a double century. And it would be great if, more runners were like, oh, interesting, like a 200 miler in Chicago. Yeah. But yeah.
Well, I'd love to come out and see you, support you. Maybe we can have an Ornery Mule aid station for you at some point.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that would be great to have like designated or themed, aid stations along the way. I think what I'll do is organize it similarly to the Tahoe 200, and that aid stations are like every 17 to 20 miles apart. So there wouldn't be like a ton of aid stations, but enough that, a handful of groups could get together and make something of it. But yeah.
Yeah, I like that idea. I think that adds a nice, cool extra challenge when you have to go that far. And I mean, and you should be a pro at that now, because now you're watching Shan do it.
Yeah, I see him get up every morning just like making his old man noises, like trying to stretch. Like he has his system when he's in bed and wakes up, he just starts stretching his toes like this, and just the most soreness I feel like he experiences back here, because he's got my ultimate direction bag that he carries water in every day, and that's, well, would it be the place where you're the most sore? Are you okay back there? I'm fine. Live, barely.
So when you listen to it as a podcast, we're seeing Shan just passed out on the bed, I guess, back there, or the couch.
Yeah, he's on the bed. It's not too bad. It's a queen size in width, but not in length, because I'm about 5'11", so I definitely notice.
Yeah.
I sleep a little diagonal just to be able to stretch the feet out, but it's not too bad. It's not too bad. His mom's quilts are back there, so it's comfy.
Oh, that's cool.
Perfect.
Except they got very dusty today. For the past, what would you say, like 30 miles, we've been on a dirt road, and it's just like the desert inside the van right now. There's like a thin layer of dust everywhere.
Yeah, so I've drove out to Colorado, like, like there's a section, like I want to make sure I filled up with gas, because I don't know if I'm going to see a grocery store, a gas station, whatever. Yeah. Like, how are you guys managing for groceries? Do you have to like buy, like, how do you figure that out?
So that's something that I'm also in charge of, is knowing, well, I guess both of us kind of figure this out, like knowing where we're gonna be the next day, what's gonna be in between point A and point B. But then me, being prepared, like, are we gonna go 2 or 3 days where we're not gonna see a laundromat? Like, do I need to go do laundry and spend the morning doing that while I'm working at the laundromat? I've done that many times. Or, do we have enough ice in the cooler? Because we've got a Yeti cooler that we make sure is just packed with ice, because we not only have, perishable food, but I love to chew ice all day. It's my thing. And, making sure there's water in the van, or there's propane in the underneath, so that I can cook stuff. And there's a lot of logistics that goes into every day, and just making sure we're prepared for like the next 1 day or 2 days, especially in an area like this where there's nothing around. Like when you see a person, it's like, what do you do out here? But yeah, I think for the next 2 or 3 days, we're going to be in areas where there's not a lot. But it's interesting. You definitely learn how to, wing it when you need to, and prepare. And I was a Girl Scout when I was younger, so always prepared. But it's been good so far. We haven't had any close calls with gas. I'm pretty good at making sure it's always at least like 3/4 full. Just because I don't want to have a heart attack on the road and run out of gas without signal, because you never know.
Yeah. Yeah, I forgot what I was going to ask you now. Well, I was going to ask you something else, but now I forgot what it was. So we will go on to your job. So I'm thinking, how do you manage all of this during the day? Like, this sounds like a lot of work. Like,
it is a lot of work. Just my personality, I like being busy. Like I'm more productive when I'm busy. I'm more motivated when I'm busy. So just having, like today I had, I don't know, 5 or 6 meetings that I had to dial into, and I had to get, because I'm a writer for an advertising, so I work on copy decks and make, doing headlines and body copy, whatever. But I do work well under pressure when I'm busy. But it's so far we've been in places where we have enough signal where I can work, and I take calls while I'm walking too. I multitask a lot. But so far it's all worked out really well, and my team is amazing, and they're super supportive. They know what's going on. And I've actually, I haven't have to work, outside of normal hours. I thought I would, but luckily it's been all right. And yeah, it's been interesting. I feel like I'm more, because I'm a creative writer, I feel like I've been more creative just because of the wide open space and being away, and just having this a new environment every day just keeps your mind fresh too, and you almost have that new clarity every day. So as a creative writer, it's helped a lot too. It's also given me a daily new perspective on culture, depending on what city I'm in. Because I'm in advertising, it's very important to know like how people interact with each other, how people talk to each other, what's important to the people in this town versus that city. So just being aware of what's really going on in the country, I feel like I'm even better as a creative person in advertising.
Yeah, that sounds like that. What did your like when you went to your boss, were they supportive right away of this idea?
Oh, 100%. They were so into the idea. They were like, this is amazing. Like, you absolutely should. This is the year to do it. Like, if there were any time to do something like this, why not now? Everyone's still working from home, so home can be a van, So I thought 100% absolutely. The only thing that I was concerned about was my dog. He's my baby. But he is in really good hands right now. I found someone through the ultra community who watches dogs, like as a part-time gig, and we did like a little meet and greet, and I brought him over there. Her house is designed for dogs. It is amazing. She has a huge backyard because he's used to living in an apartment in Chicago, and now he's living in this huge backyard. There's always new dogs around. He's 11 years old, so he's old, but I think he's still running around like a wild child. But he's living the life. I mean, she even asked, like, is it okay if I put some organic pumpkin in his dog food? I'm like, whatever you want. He's used to eating whatever, so he'll love it. And I get pictures of him daily, so he's fine. He's not going to want to come back.
Do you like FaceTime with them?
I thought about it, but I get probably 3 pictures of him a day, so I'm like, okay, he's good.
Yeah, I know sometimes when I'm out, I'm like, man, I wish I could tell my dog about this right now.
I know. I'm just going to talk to him. We'll be like, what are you doing? Oh, he's sleeping. Okay, well, I'm doing, But
yeah, your dog is so cute too. I love all the pictures on Instagram.
Yeah. He's old, but full of puppy life.
Yeah, we should mention what your Instagram handle is, because if anybody listening, you need to follow Callie on Instagram. Like, it's one of my favorite pages out there. I guess probably because you're like you have a natural talent anyhow from your job, but you're gorgeous and your pictures are gorgeous.
I'm so glad I have it right here. I brought my, like real camera. So I've been taking a lot of pictures of Shan. He used to be camera shy, not anymore. I take pictures of him doing everything. But yeah, I've also enjoyed that too as a creative person. I have a degree in photography, but I never use it. So now that I'm out here, like I said, it's a whole new landscape every day. Like I just watched the sunset while we were talking, and it's just like amazing. So, my handle is Callie CALLIE_Fornia FORNIA, which I'm surprised was not taken when I went to go get that.
Yeah, that's a epic one.
Yeah. But yeah, I don't use Twitter unless I'm looking for where the CTA blue line is. Why is it not moving? But yeah, mostly on Instagram and Facebook.
Yeah, I don't get Twitter. It's like if I want to talk to myself, I can talk to my kids.
Yeah, exactly. I used to be all about it, and then I was like, okay, I can only do two, and it's Facebook and Instagram. That's it.
Yeah, both of those are fun. Facebook, you can talk a little bit, and Instagram, I love all the pretty pictures.
Yeah, I that's why I love it. It's so visual.
Yeah.
Facebook has just become a whole new thing these days. So I'm just like, I dabble in there and then I'm out.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So for your guys' trip across the USA, what's been your favorite section so far?
Ooh, I would have to say probably when we were going, I'll pull up a picture, probably when we were going through the Sierras and there was just huge pine trees left and right, and it was terrifying to go over, but it was beautiful. The only downside of when we were in there is there was a lot of smoke, a lot of ash. It wasn't visible and it wasn't really a big problem until like 4 or 5 p.m. every day, but it was so pretty. And some of my favorite pictures that I got were from that area. What was your favorite? He's still eating. Okay, good. What's your favorite spot of the trip so far?
I would concur.
He concurs. What's been your least favorite?
Right here.
Right, we're in it.
You're in it? That is a tough part of, like when you're driving, that's the tough part of the drive.
Oh yeah.
Dirty.
It's been just gross, but yeah, so this area, right, I don't know if you can see it, it's just gorgeous in there.
Oh yeah.
Just pines everywhere, so green and lush, and even running through there, because I try, my goal every week is to get about 80 to 100 miles in. Some weeks it's harder to do just because of if work's busy. Last week I had a little foot pain, and I'm an experienced runner to know, like, don't push it, it's not even worth it. You'll be fine. So I did the lower mileage week last week, but so I try and get as much running in, which is nice because I get to experience, the scenes that he's getting to see, and it's amazing out here. Some parts less amazing than others, but they have their beauty in their own way.
Yeah, Shan said that you were getting practically as many miles as him in because you would run out to him and bring him stuff.
Yeah. Especially on the weekends, we do 4 meetups a day. So every time I go like 10 miles ahead, I run back to wherever he is, and then we go back to the van together. So I'll do that, 4 times. And then the last time we have a routine where I always bring him a GOO protein shake just to get, his recovery going. And then we'll like walk the last 2 miles or so and then take it easy once we get to the van. So
I'm curious about the van. What is in there? Can we go for a tour of the van?
Yeah, we can do a little tour. I got so much stuff around me right now.
I don't know how hard it is, so.
I mean, this is.
So that's the tour.
Yeah. This is his seat, so I have you propped up on a little Tupperware thing right now. This is the captain's chair. This is where I sit. All of our masks are up there. This is the bathroom, so if I pull it a little further away, There's a toilet in there, which we never use because there's wide open spaces everywhere. And then there's a shower, which we never shower in there because there's just more space outside. So I'll boil water and then we'll put it into the solar shower and then shower outdoors. And then this is the sink. This comes up and I cut vegetables or whatnot on there. There's nothing up there. Oh, that's the microwave, but we never use it. And then all of those bags. So the only hassle of this whole system is whenever we're done for the day and once we're parked is moving all of these big reusable grocery bags that Shan's got. They're filled with goo and goo products and our pantry food. Oh, there's also more pantry stuff in here, which is like my spices because I love to cook with spices. Oh, that Trader Joe's is my favorite. Is moving all of those off of the bed and onto the chair so that we can sleep. Oh, and that's our fridge.
Oh, cute.
A lot of hot sauces in there. And that's about it. We have 2 fold-out chairs, so whenever he comes in, I always set the chairs up outside and we just kind of sit in the middle of nowhere and just look at dirt. And yeah, it's so weird. I mean, once you stop and, just really soak in where you are and what you're doing and just take in the scenery that's around you and you're like, this is insane. But it's also amazing too. So I'm glad to be out here doing this. And I'm sure he's pretty pumped to do it too. It's been on his bucket list forever. So
yeah, I think every ultra runner, like, I mean, I always imagine how awesome it would be to get to see the towns in a running pace instead of driving by on the highway. Plus, you get to be on cooler roads because normally you travel on the ones that just go by everything.
Yeah, exactly.
So tell us about some of the towns that you've got to experience. Like I imagine you've seen some really cool, unique things along the way.
Yeah, we've definitely come across some interesting towns. We've come across places that we thought were towns according to Google Maps, and then you get there and you realize, oh, this is a ghost town. There's no one here. Which can be difficult if you're expecting like a grocery store or a gas station. But luckily,
so there's like buildings there, and then just nobody lives there anymore.
They're just totally abandoned buildings. It's very interesting. So if I have time, I always try and photograph them just to remember them. Because also at the end of this, I want to make a book for Shan with all the pictures in it just to remember the journey. But yeah, we've come across some interesting places where there's like one gas station and barely a grocery store, and we're just thinking like, well, how do you shop? Where do you get all your stuff? But it's also in a farm town, so all their stuff just comes right out of the ground or right on top of it. So but I would say one of the most interesting places we stopped was when we were, where were we? We were in Utah, like the very beginnings of Utah, and we go to this, what was it called? The RV park with the lady who like was in the, he's passed out.
Well, he deserves to be passed out.
Yeah. But it was just, we didn't even think much of it as far as an RV park being open. I mean, and there were no RVs in there, so we didn't think that it was really a thing. But it was a bar and RV, so we stopped in, got a drink, and this lady ended up being just so moved by the journey that she donated like the cash that she just had in her pocket because she was just like, this is amazing, and thank you so much for doing this. And for us to not even realize that this was, a place where that was open for business to this kind of experience, it was very interesting and very moving. I'm trying to remember because we've had so many weird things happen. That's also too why I'm photographing and taking video of the journey, because we both have terrible memory.
I agree. It's nice. I like to have a picture because then I go, oh yeah, I remember when that happened.
Yeah, and then it just sparks all the memories that happened in between. But it's been such a crazy just blip of a month that I'm glad that I've taken pictures so I can remember it all.
Oh, so it's only, but I mean, I think my mind is even having a hard time keeping up because I'm following it going, man, I wish I could do that someday. Like that it's amazing. I'm so happy for you guys to be able to do that. But yeah, like it seems like a year worth of, you guys have shown a year's worth of things happening.
No, I feel like we've aged a year for sure. But yeah, so we started on September 1st, and it's just just past October, so it's been a month doing the run, but we left like 5 days before in August just to get out to the Bay Area. So it's been a little over, but the journey of like the run itself. But yeah, it's been a fast month for me, maybe not for him, but
what's been the most challenging thing on this trip?
For me, or
for you?
For me, I would say in the beginning the most challenging was just fitting everything in, like or figuring out a routine, because within like a week span, I'm working full time. I'm crewing him, making sure he's filled up on water, food. We make breakfast and lunch and dinner every day, but also the little things, like I said, laundry, and making sure that there's a laundromat in the next town. Like, are we going to run out of clothes soon? Or making sure we have enough gallons of water in the van, because we don't want to get stuck without water, because we go through about a gallon and a half a day. No, probably 2 between the two of us. And making sure we have enough food. Do we have enough fresh food, enough ice to keep the perishables cold? Do we know where we're going to stay the next day? How far is that from where we're going to end the run that day? So just making sure we have a routine going from the get-go was probably the hardest for me. But I think it maybe took like 4 or 5 days to realize, like, okay, this is all that's got to happen within a week span. It was a little hard in Nevada, where there wasn't, there was a stretch where there was 83 miles with nothing, absolutely nothing. And it was funny because there is one hotel there. It's called the Border Inn, and it's on the border of Nevada and Utah. And it's just across the Utah border that it can have a casino and liquor and whatnot. So everyone from Utah drives over there to party in Nevada and stay at this Border Inn, and then they go back to Utah the next day. And then from that distance to that place, it's another like 80 some miles to get to another gas station. So that was a little, made my heart skip just a little bit, but we made it through. But I would say that was the hardest, but it probably took maybe like a week to get used to. And now that we have a rhythm going, it feels almost second nature.
What's the most surprising thing that you've learned while being on the road about the USA, about living in a little van with one other person?
Yeah. The most surprising. I don't know. It's a good question.
Was there anything you were expecting? Because I can imagine you have expectations. You're going out there, and you probably visualize, well, this is what it's going to be like. Was there anything did it turn out? Maybe it turned out exactly like what you expected.
Yeah, I think maybe the most surprising was I thought I was going to have a little bit more time in between. Like I even brought some books, because like, oh, I'll have time to read and catch up on reading when I'm waiting for him to get to the van. Absolutely not. I feel like I'm so out of touch on social and whatnot, because I barely have time to check in, and when I do, it's just to like do our social media thing, because we have sponsors for this run, so making sure we're staying in with that contract. But yeah, I think the most surprising was I have no time, which is fine, because I work really well that way. But other than that, as far as the places that we've been and the culture that it is in these tiny towns, it's expected without getting political. But yeah, it's been interesting just going from town to town and absorbing how these people live, and what's normal to them compared to normal in the next city or the next state. But yeah, I'm also surprised that he's feeling just fine every day, so that was a surprise too.
It sounds like you almost could have covered the distance of running across the United States. Would you ever consider doing this?
I thought about it at first. It's getting a little dark in here. I thought about it at first, but I don't know. I feel like if I were to do it, that I would need people running with me more often. Like I said earlier, I've had a lot of people stop me versus stop him, and a lot of them were dudes in trucks being like, are you okay? Do you need a ride? And I'm like, no, I'm fine. I'm meeting someone down the road. I feel like there were a lot of instances like those where it was fine, but it could have easily gone a whole other way. And safety is key out here, especially when you're running on the side of a highway and a semi is going by. The scariest part, I would say, is when because we both run on opposite sides, against traffic. And there's instances on the road where you can pass the car and go into the opposite side of traffic and pass the car. And there's been times where they may have not have seen us and they came very close to the edge of where we're running, but luckily everything's been okay now. But I don't know if I would ever want to do something like this. I thought about it at first and now I'm like but
Yeah,
you never know.
Yeah, never say never. I mean, was there a time that you would have not said, oh, there's no way I'll ever run 200 miles and then or 100 miles, like you've done 100-mile races and
I think I'm more inclined to say I'll never run or race a marathon again versus running 200 milers. I was telling him the other day, like, I don't know the last time I ran 20 miles nonstop, just because I've been in ultra mode for so long. So, and like 100+ mile mode. So I like to do my run, walk, just to, maintain daily mileage and weekly mileage, but also just, keep injuries, from not happening. So I don't know. I don't really want to do a marathon, anytime soon, but I am doing the Chicago Marathon this week. So that's definitely happening. But it won't be in Chicago. It'll be on a dirt road.
Yeah, so virtually you'll be doing the Chicago Marathon.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, and you talked about, like, I can imagine as a woman, you're running out to Shan. He's like 10 miles away. You're on the side of the road. Yeah. I mean, I would be, there's definitely places that you would be, you could be afraid. Is there anything that you're doing? Do you carry like mace on you or?
No, I have mace, but I gave it to him because the most dangerous thing for him. Oh, there we go. The most dangerous thing that he's encountered are dogs not on leashes or not in a fenced yard. So when I run, it's usually just my handheld, or I have a pack on, and then my safety vest that I wear just to be as brightly lit as possible. And if it's dark out like this, we have Knox Gear as a sponsor, so I wear their lit up vest, so I'm like a Christmas tree just running down the road. But yeah, as far as anything to like protect myself from attackers, I don't have anything with me right now.
Does that worry you? I mean, while you're out there at all? Or I don't want to be like scaring you now. Now you're like, boy, Michelle put something in my head that I wasn't worried about.
No, I think I would be more scared in Chicago because I have had a few instances happen where it wasn't good. But out here, I feel like so far, and maybe I'm putting way too much trust into people. I feel like people are more I don't know. I don't feel like I don't know. I haven't had that feeling in the places that we've been in. Most people that we run across or that drive by just seem like workers, like they're going to their their job or they're going home. In a city, I don't know, it feels a little different. Also, we don't see hardly as many people as we do in Chicago, so yeah. But yeah. I'm also in the mindset too where like I'm so like busy and I'm so focused that if someone were to approach me, I'd be like, just come on, bring it. I have bigger fish to fry right now.
Well, we saw right at the beginning of this, someone stopped to help. Yeah. So you're seeing a very welcoming USA that just wants to help one another. Because I think in general, most people are good people. Like we all want to just be part of a community and like one another and help each other. Like I always say, helping somebody else is selfish because it makes me feel good.
Yeah, exactly. like a good, a little warm and fuzzy out of doing that. Yeah, and I have experienced that and encountered that a lot of families have stopped and pulled me over. Just a lot of people in general have stopped, and whether it was me in the van or me on the side of the road or Shan too, they'll stop and just be like, "Are you okay? Are you walking or running on purpose, or is the van broken down? Do you need me to call someone if there's no service in that area?" But luckily, it's been pretty wholesome experiences. Um, I would say almost like 99.9%.
So you talked about overheating. Do you get like mechanic skills?
No, absolutely not. I have no craftsmanship, no mechanic skills. I can cook, and I'm really good at taking pictures. Being handsy.
So do you guys got like AAA or?
yeah, we have AAA, which I hope I never have to use. I don't even know what to start to tell them what's going on. But yeah, we have a couple issues with the van. One, the biggest problem is, luckily it shouldn't be a problem anymore, or possible problem, but there's a fan out in the engine, so it's very, very easy for the engine to overheat, but that only happens when you're going very slow or when it's working really hard. So those two things happen when you're going up a very steep mountain for 40 minutes, just to get over a pass. So luckily those days are behind us.
Well, when you
hopefully. Yeah, exactly. So that, and then there's a little crack in the windshield that just makes me a little nervous, but other than that, hopefully I can fix anything else that happens.
And you guys are doing this. I love how everybody's being creative during COVID and making our own challenges and continuing to do stuff and supporting one another. I mean, you are being completely generous, giving all your time to Shan and doing this.
Yeah. As soon as he told me the idea, he called me because we used to like FaceTime every night, and he said, "I have an idea. I want to run well, at first he said I want to do like the Pacific Trail or something." Yeah. And I was like, "All right, that sounds awesome." And then a couple hours later he said, "No, I want to run across the country." And I immediately was like, "I'm 100% in. I'm going to make this happen one way or another, because you are not going to have that much fun without me." Because I want to see the country too. He's gone across the country many, many times. I never have. So now I'm getting to do it twice. So I was 100% in. I knew this was going to be a chance of a lifetime, and it's 2020. So why not?
Why not? Yep.
Yeah. Just go for it. Yeah. It's interesting. Up until this, I've been doing the exact same thing you said, is try and make running interesting or creative. Or I was doing a lot of Strava art in Chicago, where you easily can, because it's basically on a grid system. So I would, get my creative energy out that way too, by writing letters or words. And that was a lot of fun for a while. I also did a mural tour. So I picked one of my favorite muralists in Chicago, JC Rivera, and just went to, I think it was like 12 or 15 different murals of his around Chicago, and made like a 50K of it or something. And yeah, it's interesting what we're all doing this year, and it's so much fun to see what people are doing, because it's like, oh, I wish I had thought of that. So
yeah, I mean, I think there's some positives coming out of COVID, like being able to work from home. I think is a good thing.
Yeah, I love it, and I love my coworkers, and I think there would be an awesome opportunity for a lot of agencies or a lot of businesses, I'm sure, to create this balance of like, you can work from home, half the week, or you can go into the office half the week, because it makes life so easy to like get your errands done, or like do your like other life stuff, but also work. And also me, I work about 45 minutes from where I live, so just cutting that amount of time out of the day gives me so much more time to either like do work or do life stuff or run. So yeah, I feel like that was something that I was really enjoying when I was living in Chicago, was working from home. I'm sure my dog was tired of it, because he's like, "It's way too loud in here." I cannot nap all day now because you're here. but yeah, it's interesting. So now I'm working from home, but home just happens to be a van.
Yeah. And you guys are also doing this for a great cause. You want to talk about what that is?
Yeah, we're raising money for Food Share, which is part of Feeding America. So we're helping them fight food insecurity, because that's such a big issue right now with a lot of people out of work, and people who drive. It was like 2 days before he left for the journey, he went and volunteered at the food share in Connecticut, and he told me, like, you'd be surprised the kind of cars that come through here, like very nice high-end cars, and that's all they have left, and they have to go to these food banks and get food to to live. So doing this is very meaningful for both of us, and it means a lot to a lot of people right now.
Yeah, that's great. And so how do people support this?
Yeah, so we have a website. It's shanrunsacrossamerica.com, and on that website you can see the donate button. We're trying to raise $10 for every mile. He tapped out. So 31,000 is the goal. I haven't checked to see what it's up to now, but we're doing really well. We're coming up with some challenges soon, so some little contests that we're going to post on social media. And then whoever wins gets like the prize money, and also we have some gifts that we can send them too. So look for that coming soon on Instagram and Facebook.
And I think it's really great that you've had some sponsors that have helped you. I
Yes.
think that they deserve a shout out.
Yeah, so absolutely. Stop and Shop has been wonderful. They're also working and partnering with Food Share because they're the grocery store in that area. They're helping us too. We're also being sponsored by Goo Energy. So like I said, I'm loving their almond butter and the Stroop waffles. He loves the Stroop waffles too, and their chews, and also the Roctane recovery drink. Drinks that every single day at the end of the day to get his recovery going, because that's very important for the next day. Also Knox gear, we're using that to just be as safe as possible, because safety is first, second, and third, especially now running on the side of a highway. And then also two toms. We have experienced zero chafing, both of us, so love our two toms 100%.
That's great. What a bunch of wonderful groups to take care of you guys. I love it when companies support the community that they're selling to. And,
Absolutely. Yeah, it was, I mean, as soon as we told them, because we were interested and we're both believers in those brands, they were like 100%, like, this is amazing, how can we help you? So it was really great to partner with them and also help get the word out about their brands too.
And then how about for listeners? What is there anything that they can do to support you along the way? Like, how can they help you with that?
Yeah, I would say, I mean, the biggest way to help is to go to the website and donate. That's definitely number one. Number two, what would you say? Showers. We need showers.
Yeah, because I imagine those roadside showers are going to get tougher in Chicago.
The older it gets. Yeah, and also the more people around too. That's luckily there's no one around right now. Like those drove by. So yeah, if anyone is along the route, if you go to the website, there is a link to the route where you can see where we'll be. There's also the actual spot tracker link and map, so you can see exactly where we are every single day. But if you are anywhere close to that route and want to offer some very dirty runners a shower, we will greatly take you up on that. But yeah, and then other than that, just send us good thoughts, maybe some, motivational messages to Shan to keep going, even though he's fine. He's a robot, so.
Yeah, he's definitely crushing it. Really good
Yeah,
job.
It's like nothing.
I know. I'm watching it. It's funny to hear, because sometimes people make stuff look easy, and now you're telling me it looks just as easy as he's making it look.
He just comes in at lunchtime, and I'm like, "How are you? Like, can I get you anything?" He's like, "I'm good. Feel good. I'm good.
Yep.
I'm tired. I'm good." I'm like, all right, we'll get going. Get out there. You got 20 more miles to do. So, yeah, everything's been great, and he's doing really well. And I mean, I'm almost like, where's the obstacle? Like, when's it gonna happen? I'm ready, because so far it's been pretty smooth sailing. I'm not gonna put that into the universe. I'm gonna knock on wood.
Yeah, I think it's going to be good for you, because you guys are doing good things. Karma is coming your way. You deserve good things, and I think it's going to be smooth sailing all the way across.
Thank you. Yeah, we hope so too, and we're looking forward to just getting to the end, at least getting to Chicago. We're so pumped, and he's counting down the miles until we get there. So
So Crystal does the Ornery Mule Stubborn 5, but before we do that, I want to make sure, is there anything else about your run that you wanted to share that we haven't went over?
not that I can think of.
Well, we might think about it as we're going through the Ornery Mule Stubborn 5, so we'll let Crystal
maybe.
do her thing here.
All right, so these are 5 questions that you can answer as stubbornly or as ornery as you like. So, question number 1 is share one thing about you that people may not know.
I was born and raised in Florida. People know that.
Oh, I thought it was California because of your Instagram handle.
There you go.
Orlando. My dad worked for Disney for 20 years, so I was always at Disney as a kid growing up. And then as soon as I graduated high school, I've just been moving my way north ever since.
That's cool. Do you like hot weather then?
I love the heat. When it gets below 40, I'm like, I'm not running in that. Much rather run in 70, 80s, 90s than.
Well, Chicago's pretty blistery and windy. Like, how do you survive?
I don't. I complain every year. So.
All right, question number 2 is what were your first pair of running shoes?
My first pair were, oh God, what was I can't remember the model, but it was definitely the Nike Pegasus, and they were a lime like yellow color. And I wore those for my first race ever, which was the Chicago Marathon in 2016. And after that, I was like, okay, all right, I like these. But ever since then, I've been ultras and Hokas ever since.
Nice.
Yeah, I saw you guys went to Boulder Running Company and really stocked up on some good stuff.
Boulder Running Company is our hero. They got us 6 pairs of shoes, all brand spanking new, because I was going in there thinking I was gonna like get the Clifton 6, but they already had the Clifton 7s ready to go. So yeah, we were pumped. They hooked us up.
Awesome.
That's great.
All right, question 3 is have you had any epic hallucinations while running?
I did. I was at the Yeti 100, and I swear to God, there was a rooster crossing the road in front of me, and I stopped, and then I saw like 6 chickens follow this rooster across the street. I'm pretty sure there's not chickens and roosters in that area, but they were there. They were there.
Awesome.
That's funny.
I stopped for these chickens and roosters, so.
That's a good one. I like that. Question 4 is who was the biggest influence in your life?
I would definitely say my mom. She's like the strongest lady I know. She's been through so much over her entire lifetime ever since she was a kid, and she's doing amazing things right now, watching over my sister's kids, and raising them now that my sister has passed away. So, and she has got a lot of support coming her way. I mean, every single day she's got what's called a food train coming. So people are delivering them meals every day just as they have food. And because now she's got three new mouths to feed. She's got Emily, and then Connor, who is autistic, and then the oldest, who is named Paul. So she's always been my inspiration.
Yeah, we're so sorry to hear about your sister. And
yeah, thank you. It was completely unexpected. I found out the morning that we left Colorado, and we were still heading west, and we were pulling out of a driveway, and I got the phone call, and it took me a long time to just get over it and be okay with it. But because I mean, we had no idea, like there was no previous health conditions, nothing. But yeah, we're doing okay.
Yeah, so sorry. Yeah, I wasn't gonna ask you about it because I imagine that it's very hard, but know that our hearts are all with you, and
thank you.
You deserve to be happy, and that's what your sister would want you to go on with this great adventure.
If there's anything my sister knew how to do was to live every day to the max, and so that's exactly what I'm doing out here. Especially, even if we're in the middle of nowhere, just take it every day and appreciating where we are.
So are you guys sleeping in the van tonight, just on the side of the road?
Yeah,
Cool.
100%. I think he's already passed out, but I've got to make him dinner soon, or he's gonna really pass out.
All right. Last question is, what is your favorite treat for a job well done?
My favorite thing is Elvis style anything, which Elvis style means bacon, banana, and peanut butter. But I'm like, and I'm such a huge fan of like cheap peanut butter. Like, give me Jif, I don't care. Although I do love my cashew and almond butter, but when you're doing Elvis, like an Elvis style pancake or waffle at the end of like a really hard.
Yep. That is good. I agree.
That's awesome. Well, you're quite a cook too. I think there should be the Callie cookbook coming out. Like, I mean, I saw those little Pop-Tarts.
Yeah, that's one thing that I miss about Chicago is I used to but I would organize like a trail thing at Waterfall Glen to get people who are used to running in Chicago out to the trail. And I would make homemade Pop-Tarts, and we'd all do our miles and then all meet back in the parking lot and eat homemade Pop-Tarts, because once you go homemade, you're not going back. But it was a great way to get out my creative baking out, just like expression. So I love baking. I love cooking. So he hasn't had the same meal twice since we've been on this journey. So I'm definitely getting that creative energy out there too.
Yeah, I really love all your. I think I'm a creative person too, and I just like, it's not even like work. You just want to do stuff, and
yeah, you just want to create something.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think tonight we're gonna make ramen. So we've got some ramen. I'm gonna do some egg, put a little, zhuzh on the side, and call it a day.
Well, that's
Nice.
great.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for taking the time and for getting to a spot that you had self-service so you could talk.
Down the tower.
That tower, yep.
Does Shane have to run in the extra mile so you could get to cell service?
No. He's fine.
Well, we really appreciate your guys' time. Thank you for what you're doing.
Yeah.
And yeah, thank you for the listeners. We are so excited to see the growth in the show, and we're excited. We work hard. We're being creative, and we're learning and trying to get better. And having people watch us and support us means a lot. So thank you, and my son Royal and Coach Loretta. Anything else, Crystal?
I just want to say, leave us reviews on iTunes. We appreciate it. And come be a Patreon on our Patreon page so we can keep doing this cool stuff, and we can keep interviewing cool people like Callie doing cool stuff.
Yes, thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Thank
Yes,
you
thank you
everyone
so
for
much.
listening. Bye.